all for coming. I know you all are anxiously awaiting hearing my response to the audio that was released, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background as well. So is everybody situated, mics and whatnot? Okay. So just for context, that's my family, my brother, and my first cousins. So now let me start with my statement. The statement that is being shared is a blatant mischaracterization of what I said in context. With that being said, I do understand how some who saw or heard the comments may have been put off, and for that I want to offer my sincerest apologies. What they did was cut one sentence and put it with the S word to make it sound like I said that they were that. He has refused to release the whole tape. That would actually clear some of this up. My track record shows my ability to work with people regardless of their race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. This race has been one in which everything I've done has been put under a microscope, despite being underfunded, undercovered by the media outside of negative controversy, and under-resourced. Meanwhile, my opponent has been able to get puff stories without any criticism of policies and stances that are completely counter to the needs of the people of South Carolina. And now, with that being said, I'll kindly point out that I know some of my colleagues are calling for me to step down. It's the leadership in South Carolina that doesn't want me to succeed. This has very little to do with most of us everyday folks. They want someone that's unafraid. They don't want someone that's unafraid and unapologetic when it comes to fighting for families, exposing the toxic politics that they continue to perpetuate by fighting to hold seats and not make change just to stay in power. Y'all should be upset that they want to keep someone who's proven to be a community leader for all colors. Check my record.
That's right.
Let the record show for itself. If that were true, there would be plenty of people that were white raising up against me that I have helped or that know me personally. But they're not here, and they're not raising up against me because they know that what they heard is not true. Y'all should also be upset that not only are they attacking me, and I've been out here in the community helping, but they are countlessly, year after year, campaigning to have y'all re-elect useless robots that make no change.
That's right.
First they say I'm a racist against blacks when the first video came out, and now I'm a racist against white. Well, here's the raw truth. I'm against shitty people of all colors. If you're not here to do a job, then take your A home. I have never purposefully tried to hurt the reputation of any of my Democratic colleagues in the State House. The call that came out with their names, it was unfortunate. No matter what my personal feelings were over the years, I've never tried to cause them public harm on purpose. But I find it odd that they are quick to speak up against one of their own, and even with Lindsey Graham's meddling in this election, have not called for his resignation at all. That being said, Representative Bamberg got all in his feelings about the first audio and has chosen, instead of coming to me, he chose the coward's way out, which shouldn't surprise me, because that's how he got on the ethics committee. He talks about being from a small, poor town, but has been elected twice as long as I have and never visited Denmark High School or Denmark Technical College, not once in 8 years, both of which have dire needs. I know because I went. Don't even let me mention the drinking water that is still dirty there. But I'm the toxic one, me. a mother of 5 who got into this for the right reasons, which is on the Project Veritas tape that they won't release. Half of my family is white, and they are watching this play out in complete disgust because they know who I am. Joe Cunningham is already struggling with support from the minority community. And I'm not sure how attacking a black woman who has shown her worth, not through words, but actions, and has done more for South Carolina than he ever had in his one term, thinks he should speak before he knows the facts. Let me not leave out Berkeley County's own Tom Fernandez, who lives to post about me in his groups. The same man who called to congratulate me after my last win against his friend after saying they fell out and he was siding with the wrong kind of Republicans. Not to mention the fact that one of the most hated representatives on the Republican side, Jonathan Hill, I have been the only person on a lot of occasions that will sit and eat with him. I was told when I first got to the State House not to talk to him. And when I asked why, they said because he had a Confederate flag on his porch. My response was, so, we are here to do a job. When you go into battle, you don't have time to figure out who you don't like. You fight together so everyone can return home to their loved ones and live to fight another day. Now, if you'll indulge me for a moment, and this is for the audience at home, pull out your phones. Here in South Carolina, our house is on fire in the areas of public education, infrastructure, healthcare, and the cost of living. Google what Tim Scott has actually done to move the needle in any one of those areas. He's offered us plenty of excuses about why he's not passed any bills, but no tangible solutions. His hiding in the background days are over. These right-wing chaos agents can distort what I say and misrepresent my views all they want. I will never stop fighting for working families of all races across this state. P.S. I am trying to stop cussing, but y'all won't let me be great. I am really trying. But what I cannot tolerate is being attacked for trying to make sure that I'm doing right for my community. And unless you've been in this role, you don't know. And for those of you who are saying, well, why, when Project Veritas approach you, don't you just answer the questions? When somebody runs up on you and you don't expect it, you have 2 responses that are natural: fight or flight. If I fight them, y'all will be here interviewing me because charges are pressed against me, right? So the only thing for me to do in that moment is to walk away quietly. And so that is why I chose not to address y'all each individual. And I chose to have y'all here. I am not stepping down. The people put me here, and the people want a fighter. They are tired of these brazen politics where we keep electing these pretty cute elected officials who are nothing more than shit wrapped up in a pretty box. So if you don't like that and you don't understand who I am, either come out and talk to me for yourself, but listening to satire news from a company that's already torn apart Acorn that was out in the communities doing a lot of work. Project Veritas has lost several lawsuits over the past couple years, but nobody's talking about that. And I want to say thank you. I'm not sure which ones of y'all did the interview and were pressing him for more information about the journalist. Thank you for doing your job, because what you heard him say was that he would not release the whole video. And what you also heard him say was that it was a journalist. But I got receipts. I thank God my intuition kicks in. I am so thankful. I got the picture of the boy on my phone. His name is Chris Williams. I will make sure every news channel in here get his picture before you leave. And when we talk about me and try to say, oh, well, she wanted to infiltrate the party. Well, guess what? There's an article that was released about 8 minutes ago about Project Veritas being used by the governor of Wisconsin to infiltrate the Democratic Party. Also, the young man that came to speak to me, he actually came to the State House and asked another rep for me and had me come out. Told me he wanted to work on my campaign. He actually has a fake website, getouttheblackvote.com, which I will also send y'all with his picture, with the picture of Al Sharpton. So who's tricking who? Who is tricking whom? I have a lot of text messages from this young man. So the fact that he didn't want to identify him is funny to me, because I'm going to identify him so that people know exactly what's going on here. I was never interviewed. I never knew he was a journalist. Never. He presented himself as somebody who wanted to work on my campaign by telling me to go visit his site at getouttheblackvote.com. So, with that, questions?
So you're saying that what was released is different than what you said. What did you say? And how should white constituents feel about it?
Okay, so what I was saying at the time was, I know how to deal with white folks when I'm in that environment because I was raised in a town that's 70% white. And unlike a lot of I want you to understand that anytime I'm talking in that context, I am only talking about elected officials. I'm not talking about everyday folks, right? Because I was referring to my experience in the State House. So I told him, I said, well, a lot of the black representatives tiptoe around, like they gotta, be overly polite and beg for things and go out of their way to get little things. But honestly, that's not what our white counterparts respond to. They respond to authority statements. They respond to that because they're in a situation, and you don't have to like what I'm saying. I see it play out every day. It's the reason why the Freedom Caucus exists, because they were tired of their leadership telling them what they had to do. So they branched out, and now you see the war between the Freedom Caucus Republicans and the traditional Republicans. It is exactly what I was describing. And when I said, like, shit, I'm talking about, like, not literally, like, shit. You can ask any of my colleagues at the State House. We get along just fine. We take pictures together, we laugh, we know what we're doing to campaign. And so that is what was taken out of context. And when I talk about things like experiences, y'all don't understand that. Y'all only see what y'all see from TV. Y'all have no idea what that is like. So again, understanding something that you don't understand is when I'm trying to explain it to you and then you record and take a snippet. That's what I'm saying. He didn't play the whole recording because he knew that he would have to also play the part where I said why I was there and the reasons why I was there.
But if a Republican were to say that they need to keep far left Democrats under their thumb, what would you say?
They do say it. Big Dabney made a whole statement about black people last year.
But it's not recorded and it hasn't been exposed.
Oh, yeah, it has been exposed. It's in the news.
But your statement also said that you were talking about the town you came from and dealing with white people and keeping them under your thumbs.
I was not talking. So again, remember the statement about me coming from a white town and me keeping people under my thumb, two different sentences. They just cut it and put it together. You're talking about two totally different sentences that were cut and married.
So you're saying now that your comment is about elected white officials, not the general white population.
Correct.
Do you feel the same way that you have to treat them like shit and about your elected
No,
white
I mean,
population?
nothing is overarching in all, right? So just to be frank with you, I have a handful of people that I am friends with, right? And thank God they got enough sense to have critical thinking skills to know I didn't just wake up after my 4th year and become a racist. I mean, it's ridiculous to even think about it like that. And for me, let me tell y'all something. Let me be very clear today. If that's what you want to believe, after all the work that I've done in this state, then run with it. I'm not here to convince y'all that I am not a racist. I know exactly who I am. But if you want somebody who is going to work for you regardless, that is who I am.
Where was this meal that you had with this person?
It was in Nexton at an Oriental restaurant somewhere. I'm not sure which one.
And did he say he was a reporter of some kind?
No,
he wanted to work on your campaign.
He said he wanted to work on my campaign.
Black male, white male?
Mixed.
Mixed.
Ma'am, even though you said this and told us this has been spliced up, it's not what you said verbatim. In your release, you did talk about the MAGA Republicans and treating them like SHIT. What do you think about that as you come forth today and tell us that you're not a racist and you don't believe things like that? those are parts of your constituency. Those are parts of your constituency today, and if you beat Tim Scott in November.
There will be part of my constituency that I will represent, but that doesn't mean we'll agree on ideology.
But that's fine, but they might feel hard done by about what your words are. What's your message to them tonight as you come before us?
My message for them is check my track record. I have represented people who don't agree with me many times over in the last 4 years. This is not new. I've been doing this.
I mean,
Veritas people, they insist that that was a clean tape, it wasn't edited.
Of course they do.
But it also is the second time now you've had to apologize, and the tape of you in the prison was the same thing, and you're coming back and apologizing for that too as well. That definitely was you, and that was not edited. That was state tapes. Why should anyone believe you? We're doing this again.
Listen, I've done nothing wrong. So I think the first thing we need to say is, it came out, it was ugly, but in the context of what we were talking about, it wasn't wrong. The tape was chopped and screwed. And for
even
me,
the first recording, that was not wrong?
no. We're talking about this recording.
He
So
was
don't start marrying them together.
Well, no, but the
Again,
thing is that this was the second recording,
let me be very clear here. Let me be very clear for everybody watching this. If you are at home and you are convinced that a woman who has a mixed brother and half a white family is racist all of a sudden one day because she woke up and you heard an audio of what you believe her saying, run with it. I don't have time to convince y'all how to be critical thinkers. That is not my job as an elected official. Now, I came here to answer because I know people were wondering what was going on. But what I won't do is keep repeating the same thing. So sit with it for a second.
We just received a message from Bamberg that says he was actually a graduation speaker at Denmark Tech campus. So he's calling you out for saying he's never even been there.
I say go ask the people of Denmark.
Well, he has a
Does
picture.
anybody else have any questions besides this young lady?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Representative, with the fact that you've had a couple instances with this Project Veritas so far, do you think you need to be a little more careful about who you have conversations with? I know that's the job of an elected official, but what do you think about that going forward?
Well, I most certainly think I need to be careful about who I have more conversations with. But let me explain to y'all a little bit about who I am. I didn't get in politics to impress people, okay? I got into this to help the community. I didn't get into this so that I can be a stellar person on camera for y'all. If that's what you're looking for, I ain't your rep. But if you want somebody that you can call when you in a jam and that's gonna actually fight for you, now I could go down the list of people who already are representatives that y'all don't never talk about, that I've had to go to their district and do work in, but I ain't gonna do that. But trust me when I tell you that they're watching this press conference and they know exactly who I'm talking about, and they are grateful I'm not saying names.
Well, one of the...
But wait a minute. My job as an elected official is to be a resource. My job as an elected official is not to impress y'all. My job is to be a resource for the people when they call.
But how should white constituents feel after that recording?
The same way they felt before.
Even after you said
They
you
should
hate
feel
them
the
under
same
their
way.
thumb.
They should feel the same way they did before. Would you like me to read some of the messages from my white constituents?
So you're saying that the white constituents
They are still
you
supporting
think that
me.
they don't feel a specific way about you saying that you need to keep them under control, like underneath.
I wasn't talking about white constituents.
You were just talking about white representatives.
Was that the same
Is
as
that
you
not
talking about?
racist? Is that not racist?
No.
Excuse me, let's talk loud at one time.
Well, one question, it doesn't seem like it was long enough to be having a snippet, but you refer to whites that you got to keep them under control like kids, like children. You're
I
talking
wasn't
about...
talking about white people. I was talking about Republicans.
White Republicans, like you just said. You just answered yes.
I was not talking about any color specifically. I was talking about Republicans.
Given that, Representative, working across the aisle is something
They want
that
me
you
to
have
say
to
white,
do.
right? They want me
That
to
you have
say
to do now when you work across the aisle. Do you think that this will hinder your abilities to work across the aisle at this moment? And if you beat Tim Scott in November, or do you think this doesn't affect that?
No, I don't think that affects it. I don't think this affects that. Y'all have a really jaded view of what y'all think happens in politics. Y'all have no idea who the people at the State House are. None at all. Wait, let me finish my statement, please. When you talk about working across the aisle, that means both people have to work across the aisle. Do we all in this state pay taxes? Yes. Who spends the majority of the money that the state gets in? Who decides where that money goes? You can call and ask for the stats. It's the Republicans. But we all pay taxes, right? Right? So I put in for money for my library. After the first call, they took my money out. But guess what? That money doesn't come to me. It goes to the constituents, right? Right? I was told in my first 2 years that we don't like the way you talk. So if you don't change that, you're going to have to, you're not going to be able to get anything. Well, wouldn't you call that keeping me under your thumb? I mean, come on. If we're going to call a spade, today is the day, y'all. If we're going to call a spade, then call a damn spade. Is that not keeping me under your thumb?
Well,
yes or no?
Recordings.
Yes or no?
Well, let me ask you.
So what I'm saying is, y'all don't know my lived experience.
No.
So when you judge me off of an audio, you don't know the context that I'm talking in. And he won't play the full recording.
Are you worried about bringing down, or identified as bringing down the whole ticket now? That's why you've got the governor candidate, the congressional candidate.
No,
Party
I'm not.
chair thinks you should not be in the Senate race anymore.
I am not worried about bringing the whole ticket down. And I'll tell you why. I have done more work for the Democratic Party than any of those candidates that are worried about bringing the ticket down. My work speaks for itself. The fact that I've been here 2 terms, even with the way I talk, even after talking this way for the first 2 years, even after all the obstacles, the fact that I'm still here tells you that the people in my district don't give a damn about language. They care about results. They care about solutions. And that is what everybody should be focused on. You're focused on whether you like, I ain't asking y'all to love me. I don't give a damn if y'all don't like me. But you need to worry about if I'm going to fight for you when it comes to resources, when it comes to your community and your needs. That is the main concern. And the same people worried about my ugly language, I can show you my inbox full of folks with ugly language, calling me a dog and all this stuff. Couldn't wait to jump on. What do you call that? What do you call all of these things? I would call it the same. So with that,
So are you saying
I
by
thank
it's
you.
the same? If
I
it's
thank
the
Let him go ahead, and
same,
then we'll ask
then
questions at the end.
Yeah, we'll hold some
Let's
questions
build a
till
respect.
after it's over. All right.
I can change this.
Yeah, it's not over.
if it's the
no,
same,
I think
then
she's
it's
mad
okay.
because I think she's the one that came to the
Uh-huh.
house. But
She
if
is.
you come to where my kids are, I'm going to do like a mother would do, and I'm going to be protective. And even though on your tape for the interview you said that I told you to get off my property, I actually did not, and I have it on my Ring doorbell camera. I said, please leave my private residence.
Yes,
Thank you. So I'm going to close this out by just saying I appreciate all of you for coming. I think you asked very good questions. I know that you are entrenched in trying to get answers for the people, as you should be. I got 60 days left. I've been campaigning for almost 2 years. I am not quitting, and a lot of people wonder why I'm not quitting. I've been campaigning for almost 2 years, and if you don't know what that feels like, you can't step in my shoes and know what that feels like unless you've done it. And so I am not stepping down, but we got 60 days left. So if you heard this today and you want to rally with me, go to my website, look at my events, come on, get with us, get on this train. Let's make some things shake for South Carolina. At the end of the day, that's what's important. I am saddened and I'm tired of fighting these fights. And so people probably wonder, well, why is she not being more professional? And why is she not doing this? I'm tired of doing that. It's not working. It's not effective. No real change is getting done like that. It's time for real people to stand up. And we can't keep saying pull yourself up by the bootstrap only to kick you back down. Okay? I come from the bottom. I done been homeless and I done been hungry. I done been a lot of things. But we keep saying, pull yourself up by the bootstrap. Well, when I get up, are you going to kick me in my head? That's the question. We got 60 days. Let's do this. Obviously, y'all, I've been campaigning for 2 years. All they could rile up was 2 audios, one that they set up, that they chopped and screwed. So guess what? If that's all they got, they in trouble. Because people in South Carolina want something different. Thank you so much.